Y&R Spoilers Monday reveals the calculations and doubts of Genoa City's elite. Aristotle Dumas once again proves his position and coldness as a powerful manipulator. Damian's life, which was already teetering between work and love, has become even more fragile and stormy in just one fateful afternoon. Dumas, with his eyes never leaving his grand plans, has been silently observing every move of his subordinates, ready to punish anyone who slacks off on their responsibilities, even with the slightest sign of negligence. Damian never expected that all his dedication, his relentless efforts to balance his trust in Dumas and his simmering feelings for Lily Winters, would ultimately fail to preserve his position in this powerful corporation. The hesitation, the moments of distraction due to inner conflict became the perfect excuse for Dumas to swing his knife and behead the general, without a word of warning, without giving Damian time to explain or cling to any fragile hope. It all started when Damian and Lily accidentally met Nate Hastings and Audra Charles in a luxurious space, where every look had a hidden meaning, where every word could be the spark for a secret war. Damian was confused. His heart was pounding because of the pressure from both work and his unnamed feelings for Lily. Lily's eyes, gentle but determined, still did not leave the man standing at the crossroads of his life. She saw the fatigue, the disappointment in Damian's eyes, but also clearly felt the fire of struggle that had never been extinguished in him. A call from Dumas' assistant broke that quiet moment. Damian stepped outside, his heart filled with a bad feeling. In that moment he was nervous, scared, and hoping for something positive, even though deep down he knew things wouldn't go the way he expected. On the other end of the line, the assistant's cold voice gave Damian no chance to defend himself, no words of comfort, no questions about why. It was the final verdict. He was removed from all Dumas' activities with no more chance to make amends or prove himself. Dumas' ruthlessness was evident in his timing. When Damian was struggling between duty and affection, between his own worries and the expectations of those around him, Damian returned inside, trying to keep calm and hide the panic rising inside him. But the change in his face could not be hidden from Lily, nor from those who were closely following the developments of every relationship in this city. Damian lost everything he had worked so hard to build. Not only his job but also the trust of the man who once prided himself on being Dumas' right-hand man. The intense pressure made Damian feel like he was lost in the middle of a vast desert, not knowing where to turn when all his support disappeared in the blink of an eye. Whispers and scrutinizing eyes began to spread everywhere. People discussed the real reason why Dumas made such a cruel decision. Some said it was just a normal thing in a fierce environment, where power was built on fear and absolute obedience. Others suspected the existence of a secret that Damian was hiding, something that only Dumas knew, and took advantage of the right moment to remove him from the vortex of power. Outsiders seemed to be more curious, adding more layers of hypotheses to the already complicated story, making Damian the subject of gossip, pity, and also a warning to those who dream of advancing in the Dumas group. Amidst those speculations, Lily Winters had a different way of thinking. She did not care much about Dumas's deep reasons or true motives. Instead, Lily focused on the present, on the opportunity she had in her hands, an invitation to Dumas' party in France. For Lily, that party was not simply a social event, but also the key for her to decode the mysteries that were still covering her life, especially the complicated relationship between Dumas, Damian, and herself. Nate Hastings, with his usual caution, expressed his concerns. He feared that the party was just a trap, a stage for Dumas to continue manipulating and testing the loyalty of all those who entered his world. But Lily, with the courage of a woman who had experienced many storms, considered it the only opportunity to face the truth, to expose the lies that were still trapping her in tangled relationships. She did not flinch before any challenge, even considered the party an opportunity to prove her worth, to regain faith in herself and in those she loved. Damian, despite having lost all his professional support, still could not leave Lily. In his heart, guilt and disappointment were intertwined, but at the same time, there was also a desire to protect and shelter the woman who had given him strength in his darkest moments. The party in France for Damian was now not just an invitation, but also the last chance for him to regain what he had lost, even if it was just a little bit of self-respect left after the incident. Meanwhile, Aristotle Dumas, with his usual coldness and sharpness, continued to plan the next steps for his empire. The decision to fire Damian was not only a move to eliminate the weak, but also a warning to all those serving under him, that loyalty and dedication must be absolute and never be shaken by any reason, including emotions or personal relationships. Dumas believed that only in this way would his group be strong and avoid the risk of betrayal from within. The dismissal of Damian shook not only the Dumas group but also the upper class of Genoa City. The already fragile relationships were further fractured. Suspicion and calculation gradually overwhelmed the trust between people who once considered each other allies and confidants. Each person faced their own choice: continue to obey Dumas in the hope of maintaining their position, power and reputation, or dare to face the truth, dare to step out of their comfort zone to find a new value in life. The story of Damian, of Lily and of Aristotle Dumas is not only their own battle, but also a mirror for those who have been caught in the spider web of power, struggling between loyalty and personal feelings. As secrets are gradually revealed, as people's hearts become clear, will anyone still have the courage to live true to themselves? Or will everyone be swept away in a whirlwind of lies, betrayals, and endless calculations? The upcoming party in France will be a great challenge for Lily and Damian. It is not only a place to answer questions about Damian's dismissal, about the real reason behind Dumas' cruel decisions, but also an opportunity for each person to reflect on themselves. To ask themselves what is really important: work, power, or true human values. Amidst the lavish, splendid atmosphere of France, will Lily find the answer for herself? And will Damian overcome the shock to start over? Or will everyone sink deeper into the fateful spiral that Dumas has drawn before? After being fired by Aristotle Dumas, Damian carried a lingering pain and a sense of disorientation. He not only lost his career but also a part of his self-worth. Years of effort now left only a void. During the long sleepless night, Damian kept wondering which choice in the past had brought him to this abyss. He searched through every memory, every time he faced Dumas, recalling the harsh looks, the cold orders, and even the rare encouragements. All were like scattered pieces, not enough to piece together into a complete picture of a once brilliant career. The atmosphere in the city seemed to have changed since Damian lost his position. At every party, every meeting, the handshakes now became cold, the greetings suddenly became more awkward. Damian clearly felt the alienation of those who once praised him. They avoided eye contact, cautious as if afraid that his failure was a sign for themselves. Only Lily Winters remained silently by his side, bringing him a rare warmth in the midst of life's storms. Lily, unlike Damian, was not shaken by any changes. Her determination and courage, forged from past losses and pains, helped her stay calm and composed. She understood that the power struggles in Genoa City's upper class did not allow for weakness, that only those strong and intelligent enough could stand firm and win. Therefore, when the invitation to Dumas's party in France arrived, Lily did not hesitate. Seeing it as a golden opportunity to discover hidden secrets and test her own steadfastness, Damian knew that this party was not simply a social gathering, but an underground battlefield where every look and every word contained profound implications. He hesitated whether to attend or not, because the feeling of being excluded from Dumas' world was still intact in his heart. But in the end, it was Lily who gave him the courage, helping him stand up and face every challenge despite all the worries and fears in his heart. Before the trip to France, Damian had many sleepless nights. He recalled the past, blaming himself for his subjectivity and indifference, which led to losing Dumas' trust. But most of all, he was tormented by the feeling of having let Lily down, the woman who always believed in him even when the world turned its back. Lily's text messages and calls in the middle of the night were like a flickering light that warmed Damian's cold heart. He realized that even if he lost everything, as long as he kept Lily's love and trust, he still had a chance to start over. Meanwhile, Aristotle Dumas still did not seem to care about Damian's fate. For Dumas, each individual is just a chess piece on the chessboard of power, and when a chess piece is no longer useful, he will not hesitate to eliminate it to preserve the power of his empire. But behind that cold appearance, Dumas silently watches Damian's every move, wanting to know if the person who used to be his right-hand man has the courage to overcome this shock. Or will he wither away like the many people he has eliminated? The party in France took place in a splendid, luxurious space but also filled with caution. Powerful figures in the financial, fashion, and art worlds were all present, each hiding their own calculations. Each conversation was like a chess game testing intelligence and sophistication. Lily appeared radiant in an elegant dress, her proud eyes making many people turn to look. Damian was quietly beside her, trying to hide his anxiety, maintaining the dignified appearance of an experienced gentleman. From the beginning of the party, Dumas created a tense atmosphere by actively inviting former competitors to sit at the same table, asking sharp and provocative questions. He did not hide his intention to test the patience and courage of all the guests. Lily quickly realized that Dumas wanted to see who had the courage to overcome the darkness of the past, who was loyal enough to continue accompanying him on the road ahead. During the party, Damian was constantly probed by his former colleagues, asking about the reason for his dismissal. Each question was like a knife cutting into his already bleeding self-esteem. But instead of avoiding it, Damian chose to face it, answering briefly and politely but not avoiding the truth. He affirmed to everyone that he had made a mistake, but thanks to that, he realized that his true value did not lie only in a position in the Dumas group. That frankness and sincerity made many people think. Some even secretly admired Damian's rare strength. Lily took advantage of every moment to approach the guests, listening and observing every smallest detail. She gradually discovered unusual signs, excessive tension between some of Dumas' major shareholders, secret glances exchanged, and ambiguous statements about an upcoming, big change in the group. Lily understood that Damian's removal could be just the start of a larger purge, where every position could fall victim if they were not brave enough or skillful enough to stand on the right side. Nate Hastings, always calm but no less perceptive, proactively approached Damian to share his views. He believed that today's defeat could be a stepping stone for Damian to become stronger, as long as he did not let hatred cloud his mind. Nate also revealed to Damian confidential information about the internal situation of Dumas, showing that even those who seemed invincible were facing unexpected pressures and dangers. In the midst of those tense moments, an unexpected incident occurred. An important guest of Dumas suddenly fainted in the middle of the party, causing chaos. While everyone was panicking, Damian was the first to rush to the first aid, using all his knowledge and experience to help, coordinating with the medical team. Damian's quick wit and bravery were witnessed by many people. Even Dumas himself could not hide his satisfaction. That event was like a strong push, helping Damian regain some of his confidence, arousing respect from those who had looked down on him. After the incident, Lily proactively sought out Dumas for a frank discussion. She did not hide her desire to better understand the decision to fire Damian, as well as Dumas' true plans for the future of the group. Faced with Lily's courage and intelligence, Dumas did not beat around the bush but admitted that he always appreciated those who dared to face the truth, dared to overcome failure to become more mature. He gave Lily sincere advice on learning to stand firm in the face of storms, as well as maintaining self-respect and self-belief. The party ended in an atmosphere that was both heavy and hopeful. Damian, after all, realized that his true value lay in his strength to overcome adversity, in his courage to face mistakes, and in Lily's deep love for him. Lily, with her resilience and intelligence, became more confident in her path to finding the truth and rebuilding her own future. Aristotle Dumas, despite his cold demeanor, saw in Damian and Lily the qualities that any leader would desire in his associates: loyalty, courage, and above all, the ability to rise from failure. It is people like them who truly create lasting value for any empire. Even though power may change, positions may be lost, but self-respect and steadfastness are something no one can take away. The trip to France was not only a big turning point for Damian and Lily, but also opened a new chapter full of promise for their future. Although the road ahead is still full of challenges and many secrets yet to be revealed, with courage and faith and love, both will continue together, ready to face all the storms of life. So that one day, when looking back, they will know that all the losses and pains are just tests to forge people who will never give up. The atmosphere of a luxurious party seemed to be made heavier by the unspoken undercurrents. Victoria Newman, though standing among friends and relatives, kept her eyes on the door, waiting for Cole to appear. The air was still filled with congratulations, laughter interspersed with soft music, but Victoria's heart was filled with an uneasy feeling that was hard to hide. She was used to Cole's precision and thoroughness, a man who always put his presence and responsibility first, never late to any event that she attended. Tonight, his prolonged absence was like a sign that something was not normal. And then Cole appeared, with a tired face and dark circles under his eyes that were hard to hide. He hurriedly explained, his tone both sincere and forced, that he was stuck in the office due to an important project that needed to be completed, that everything was unexpected, but he still tried to run to Victoria and her family. Victoria listened to every word, her eyes never leaving Cole's slightest gesture. She didn't miss the slight wince when he coughed lightly, nor the slight hesitation in the middle of a sentence. Sometimes, the intuition of someone who has been through so much can become unusually sharp, and tonight, that intuition told Victoria that there was something hidden behind Cole's mask. Throughout the party, Cole tried to blend in with the general atmosphere, smiling politely and joining in the conversations. But the persistent cough, pale complexion, and slightly worried eyes made it difficult for those around him to not notice that he was not feeling well. Cole kept reassuring her that it was just a mild cold, that the change of seasons had weakened his body, but the worry in Victoria's eyes became more and more obvious. She silently observed every little detail, from Cole's avoidance of cold food, his absent-mindedness when people mentioned future plans, to his habit of fiddling with the handkerchief in his pocket to dispel his worries. In another corner of the room, Adam Newman could not ignore Cole's condition. Being sensitive to emotional changes, Adam quickly realized that Cole was struggling to overcome something bigger than a common cold. However, Adam chose to distance himself from his curiosity, pulling Chelsea into a gentle dance as a way to avoid troubles that did not belong to him. In the middle of the music, Adam whispered a joke about taking Chelsea go-karting on her next birthday, making Chelsea laugh, her eyes sparkling with joy and excitement. Both of them deliberately immersed themselves in the youthful energy, creating their own bright and peaceful world in the midst of the hidden storm of the Newman family. But in fact, despite his laughter and talk, Adam always kept a part of his mind focused on Cole and Victoria, waiting to see what surprises would explode tonight. At the same time, in a more hidden corner of the living room, Michael Baldwin was examining Victor Newman's every move. Although many years had passed, the relationship between Michael and Victor had always been a series of days of tumultuous respect, gratitude mixed with disappointment and hurt. Michael approached, choosing the moment when Victor was standing alone to speak up, trying to find some old intimacy. But Victor, with his inherent cold appearance, only responded with short polite sentences. His eyes seemed to lock all the shared memories between the two in the iron box of the past. It seemed that for Victor, Michael was still the person who betrayed his trust in an old deal. And that scar would never heal no matter how much time passed. Lauren Fenmore, standing from afar, saw her husband struggling to seek forgiveness from Victor, her heart filled with worry. She knew Michael was a compassionate person, always trying to reconcile all conflicts. But Lauren also understood that Victor was not someone who easily forgot his wounds. When Michael returned to her side, Lauren gently advised him, begging him to give up the intention of holding Victor back to the past, not to let old loyalty hurt him again. But Michael, with a bitter smile, just shook his head. I don't think that's a problem because Victor won't forgive me soon. In Michael's eyes, there was acceptance mixed with sadness, like someone who understood human nature and relationships that could not be saved. Each storyline quietly intersected in the party atmosphere. Each character tried to hide the cracks in their souls, but no one could hide from Victoria's eyes. She continued to observe Cole, seeing him laughing and talking with his relatives. But every time she passed by, she caught a look of unease, and the prolonged coughs made her heart ache. Victoria gradually felt that something was wrong, not just his health, but also a bigger truth that was being hidden. She remembered the times Cole had hidden his emotions to protect her from trouble. An instinct told Victoria to find out the truth before it was too late.